on this edition of the Just in Time podcast with Justin Kutcher.
Because you're the only player ever to win a tournament when the Grand Slam champions in the history of the tour. So when Tiger held all 4 majors, he played 3 tournaments. He won 2 of them.
Damn.
And he lost 1. And it was that one. I go, that is pretty damn cool. I'm not worthy of that kind of thing. And I really didn't know that at the time. So yes, that was prime Tiger. Tiger's going to beat these. If it's Sunday and they're tied, I cannot win. Now, they wouldn't say that out loud.
Right.
They wouldn't say, he's human, or it's just a score. No, they knew he was going to win. That's maybe the most impressive thing I've ever seen. I'll tell you, the most starstruck I've ever been meeting another golfer was Seve. I met him. I spent 30 seconds with him. And that guy has an aura that no one else had. We weren't playing together. We were on the range at Troon. But that was the most, I was like, oh, that's Seve. That's awesome. If there's a golf lesson and there's somebody listening that wants to be a professional golfer, look it up, watch the scoreboard, watch what everybody's doing, because it will dictate what you have to do. And if you don't believe me, watch Tiger and Nicklaus, the 2 best that ever did it by far.
The greatest sports moments happen in seconds, but the stories behind them are timeless. Dive into the mind of the icons who live those moments. No filters, just authentic conversations about the moments that define careers. I'm Justin Kutcher, and this is the Just in Time podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Just in Time podcast with Justin Kutcher, joined now by a guy who played a long time on the PGA Tour, as a PGA Tour winner. He's now a broadcaster, one of my broadcast partners, and he is the first and only person to ever say that I look like Xander Schauffele. It is none other than Robert Damron. How are you, bud?
Great. I'm surprised it's not obvious. No one else has said that.
No one else has said that. And as a matter of fact, it was our mutual friend, Pierzynski, when he and I worked together. He's like, oh, yeah, Damon said you look like Xander Schauffele. I'm like, what? But you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. And if I have his golf game, I'll take it even more.
And he's a movie star.
True.
So, and Happy Gilmore, too. So, and he did a really good job. Maybe if you grew just a little scruff. You know how Xander never shaves all the way. It's always just a little scruffy. It's not a beard, but it's just, like a constant 5 o'clock shadow.
So I would do that because at the 5 o'clock shadow, I'm not quite showing enough grays. But if I let it go a few more days, then the grays are showing.
Look at this guy.
I know. You're just embracing it.
I gave up long time ago.
Dude, there's so much stuff that I want to talk to you about. One thing that I think is really funny is everyone who ever hears you speak obviously hears your accent from Kentucky. But you've spent so much of your life in Florida, in the Orlando area. How old were you when you moved from Kentucky to Florida?
So this is just like the Xander Schauffele thing, because I don't hear people tell me I really have an accent anymore. And the reason being, and I'll kind of tie this into the answer to your question, I stopped going back to Kentucky when I was 18. We did the 6 months. So, and in elementary school, I would split the school year up. So I would do maybe the first couple months of schooling in Kentucky and then come to Orlando to finish, 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, whatever. And the kids made fun of my accent because it was really hillbilly accent. And so I kind of really worked on it. And I'm like, God, I don't want to sound, like I came out of the sticks, even though I did. So, I really didn't want to be made fun of. I worked on it, and I don't hear, maybe occasionally a word, maybe occasionally if other Kentucky people are around me or I get drinking a little bit, then it starts to come out a little. But I'm surprised you said that, because I fought hard of just being kind of a neutral accent. Maybe I shouldn't have. I should have done the Larry the Cable Guy thing and really got it out there. Just, hey, boys and girls, what's up?
Well, I'll tell you this, right? Because I grew up in Connecticut. I was born in New York City, but I never lived there until later in life. And I always thought Connecticut was a state with no accent.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden, no, there's an accent. And there are certain ways that we pronounce words, and everyone's like, what'd you just say? And I have to work on it, like on a daily basis, to try to break out of it.
Oh, yeah. Connecticut's not Boston or New York City, or Long Island, but it's there. There's certainly an accent there. No question about it.
It just goes one of those things where you don't think like you have it, and then you do have it.
The other thing is up in New England, Connecticut, I'm Bob. It's always Bob. Hi, I'm Robert. Okay, Bob, how are you? No. Robert. Bob's just a thing from the Northeast, I guess. I don't get it because I've never introduced myself as Bob or called myself Bob. But If they're old enough, I'll let them get away with it. If they're younger, I'll correct.
Okay, so two questions. One,
Mhm.
does it drive you nuts when somebody calls you Bob?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And two, there is a friend of mine in college. Her name was Jennifer, and everyone would say Jen. And so her nickname became Niffer because she'd be like,
Oh,
Jen Niffer. Like, it's Jennifer.
that's great. But then you don't want to walk that line of like being kind of an a-hole going, no, I said Jennifer. I didn't
Yeah.
say Jen. You just, okay, let it roll off. Or do you kind of politely say it? I don't know. As I get older, I just let it roll off my back, I guess.
Fair enough. So, okay, I have to ask this question then. We're going to get into it in great detail, but
Hmm.
obviously somebody older who was a mentor of yours was the great Arnold Palmer. I'm guessing he never called you Bob.
Never. Never, 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 never. That's Western Pennsylvania, though. No, he called me Robert. Sometimes son. Not like, hey, you're my son, but hey,
Right.
come on, son, let's go play some golf, that kind of thing. But no, mostly, yeah, just Robert. No nickname, no nothing. He never called me Bob, but there were other guys, older guys, his age, even a little older when I was younger, that always called me Bob, and I just, yes, sir, Mr. Hoff, or and just let it go because the one guy that did it all the time was a World War II bomber pilot, so he's allowed to get away with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
funny. My dad, it always drove my dad crazy. My dad was a surgeon, and people would see him and they'd be like, hey doc," and he's like, "Ah, I hate that because
Man,
that's the excuse for like, I don't know your name.
that's it.
I'm just going to call you Doc."
And I'm as guilty as anyone because I suck at remembering names.
Oh, you and me
Yeah.
both, man. That's why
Thank
we're friends.
thank God yours is pasted right above your head there. Justin on your right side and Kutcher on the left.
Yeah, no kidding. There we go. Hey, so I have to go back to the high school days because I
Okay.
was looking at this, and you went to Dr. Phillips High School in Orlando.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I mentioned AJ Pierzynski. AJ went there. Did you
Yeah.
guys overlap?
No. He was I think he was a so yes, I think he was a freshman when I was a senior, but his freshman year he went to a high school in Brooksville. He didn't start till after I had left. Um, yeah, Dr. Phillips High School, right below Universal Studios. There, you can see the roller coasters and all that. Harvard of the South, we like to call it. But it was full, just for some reason, of sports stars, actors, you name it. It's entertainers, singers. It's been just crazy to go, oh my gosh, this guy went to Dr. Phillips too. It was a big high school, like 3,600 students, but that's not monstrous by today's standards. It's big, but it's not supposed to produce maybe a dozen different people that if I told you their name, you would recognize it. I mean, from like Ha Clinton Dix. I didn't know he went to Dr. Phillips, but he
Hmm.
did. Wayne Brady from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oh,
Sure, he
damn.
was
I didn't
there.
know Wayne Brady
Yeah,
went there too.
absolutely. I didn't know either till after he was gone. He was a little older than me, but yeah, he went there for 2 years. And there were from AJ,
You had
and
DJ Khaled,
DJ Khaled absolutely went there.
JC and Joey Fatone from
Yep.
NSYNC.
Um,
And then,
um, Fonzie, Despacito, the song that was like the crazy
yeah,
YouTube
yeah,
hit.
yeah.
Yeah, and he went there. Johnny Damon
Johnny
went
Damon.
there.
Yep.
Yeah, so we had Olympic diver and forgive me, buddy, I can't remember her name at the moment, but it was just nuts. It really was. So yeah, being in that Dr. Phillips Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame, is like one of the coolest things for me. At the time, I didn't really appreciate it because you're young and dumb. But that's one of the coolest accolades I ever got. I'm part of the Dr. Phillips Sports Hall of Fame.
I mean, I was blown away because the first time that I heard about Dr. Phillips, I did a Dr. Phillips high school basketball game in my days with ESPN, and Jacoby Brissett was on that team.
Hmm.
Uh, but they were, and then Trey Griffey, Ken
Yeah,
Griffey Jr.'s kids,
Ken's son.
yeah, they all went there. So it's just, I was like, man, like, holy cow. So I was wondering, did you overlap with Johnny Damon then?
Yes. So Johnny
Okay.
and I, it's a funny story. Johnny's 1 year younger than me. We were friends through high school. I saw him all the time. And it's funny, I knew he was a good ball player. I mean, obviously he was good, but there was a guy in my grade named Brian Barber that was a pitcher that got all the press. He was the stud of all studs. I think he got drafted out of high school, like second or third, if I remember right. And so Johnny really didn't get any of the press, any of the hype. He just was kind of background to Brian Barber. And Barber went on to get into the majors, then Tommy John surgery, and then in out as a middle innings reliever. And now I think he was the head scout for the Yankees, and now he's a scout somewhere. But anyway, when Johnny got called up, and all of a sudden he's a star. Started with the Royals, but then he went to the Athletics. That's when he really started getting big. Then traded to the Red Sox, which was just ridiculous. And he was the biggest thing going for a while. And I'm like, this kid, I didn't know he was that good. I didn't know he was fast. But yeah, he went on to be one of the best leadoff hitters in the game for years.
He did, and he's also known as one of the best or biggest partiers that has come through the majors in a long time. So did you see that in high school?
No, not in high school. He was dad was a Vietnam vet. His mom was really sweet, but he had a solid girlfriend for years and years and years. It ended up being his first wife, and he played it reasonably straight as far as I know. Now he's still, even now, he loves to be, he's just a social and loves to go and play outings or go out at night and be with these people, or, oh, there's a party here, I'll just go because what, my wife and I like parties, so we'll just go hang out and be Johnny Damon. And I didn't know that at the time. I didn't, more because I was the nerd. I was the golfer. I didn't go out to parties. I didn't do things like that. I'd stayed home and maybe went with a couple of buddies, but I didn't go hang out in the big groups the way they did. Too introverted at the time.
If there was an article written about the Red Sox, so Johnny Damon, when he went over, he had that collision, the concussion, and he didn't shave or get his hair cut, and then he became like Jesus. And the next year in 2004, they win everything. But the article talks about how he learned how to be a professional baseball player in his time in Oakland from Jason Giambi. Jason Giambi was the one who's like, hey, we're a professional baseball player. You're going to be a rock star. And that means we party like a rock star. And that's when like everything kind of took off. And then he brought that mentality to the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, the idiots. That's what they call themselves. And I mean, you look at guys like Kevin Millar, who would sit right into that idiot, who's a wonderful guy. I love him. But he's a goofball, and he wants to just have fun, and he never shuts up. I don't think he ever sleeps. He fit into that mold of the idiots, of the loose fun, and that's what they had, such popularity for. Not just because they're Red Sox, and the Red Sox always have a popularity, but that team in particular. Derek Lowe, the starting pitcher in Game 7, he's a nut, and a lovely guy, great fun, but just a nut. And the whole team was full of them. And the funny story that I don't think really ever came out about Johnny is he loved not just being a Red Sox, but he loved that party, not just persona, but he lived it. He did. He went out as soon as the game's over. He went out. A lot of guys went home, and then he gets traded to the Yankees. He has to shave his beard. He has to cut his hair. They don't allow friends in the clubhouse. Nobody. It's a much more straight-laced organization, and he never, even though he had a great career there, never felt like he fit in with the Yankees per se. He felt like this isn't the atmosphere that I'm comfortable in. So all of a sudden, he went from like the ringleader to kind of what he felt like maybe a little bit of an outcast, just because the organization didn't fit his personality.
Yeah. I never heard that, but I'm not surprised by that at all, because sometimes when you make a change like he did, that huge change of the cutting the hair, the shaving of the beard, you lose your identity almost. And then all of a sudden he gets to New York, and he did win a World Series there, and he was great.
Yes, he did.
In 2009. But yeah, I could see him not having nearly as much fun doing that than what he did in Boston. And in Boston, when he won, they broke a curse since 1918. And in New York, they had won for their first time since 2000. So it was like a 9-year gap versus 86 years.
That, and he was after the Red Sox, he was kind of transcendent of a ball player. He was a figure, a social figure, He was like you said, he looked like baseball Jesus with the hair and everything, and he kind of went to blending in with the Yankees. Not that he played outstanding, he really did, but yeah, it really didn't fit Johnny Damon. I don't think. I don't think he'd do it over again. He loved his time with him, but it just didn't fit his personality.
So you and AJ are really tight. How did that
Yeah.
kind of come about?
We met at Charles Howell's birthday party. He had a dinner and about, I don't know, 10 couples. And AJ and I knew of each other because of Dr. Phillips. We had never met. And so it's across the table at a long table. Him and his wife are sitting directly across from me and my wife. And after about 2 hours, it's just me and him talking and making fun of our wives, which is kind of what I do. And he got loosened up because of me, and we talked and laughed all the time. We were kind of best friends since then. Just that dinner. That was probably, 2003 or so. And yeah, so he and I, it's just a lot of fun because, as you know, his mouth doesn't stop. It doesn't stop, and he's making fun of you the whole time. And if other people around, it's just back and forth, back and forth. And some people, like if they play golf with us, oh, Robert's a professional golfer, AJ's an athlete, we're gonna have a nice day. You know, what's your handicap? I don't care what your handicap is. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna drink some beers or whatever we drink, and we're gonna laugh. Don't, if you want lessons or something, you're probably not gonna get it. You're just gonna, if you want to act like dummies, we're gonna have a great time.
So if you met him in 2003, he won the World Series in 2005
Okay,
with
so
the
I lied.
Chicago White Sox.
I lied then. It was about it would have been 06 because it was after the
Okay.
after
It
the
was
White
after
Sox.
the World Series. Okay.
After
I
the
was going
World
to say,
Series.
I was wondering if you had the chance to kind of be on the inner circle of that World Series run.
No, not when it was happening.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about it. I've met a lot of his teammates over the years. Um, I was always, even before AJ, always a White Sox fan because when I was young, well, the reason I'm at Bay Hill in Florida is because of Hawk Harrelson, the White Sox
Oh my
announcer,
gosh. Long
legendary.
time. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Put it on the
35
board.
years.
Yes.
The man. And I slip in a few Hawkisms on my broadcast once in a while. Not everybody knows what I'm doing. But anyway, when my dad retired, he loved to play golf and gamble. He used to go to Savannah with a group from Eastern Kentucky, and Hawk Harrelson used to play at Savannah. So they would gamble against each other. Then they started gambling as a team against other people. Hawk was announcing for the Red Sox at the time, and their spring training was Winter Haven, Florida. So my dad, he goes, come down. There's a place called Greenleaf. There's gambling. Dad would start coming to Greenleaf. We got a house in Greenleaf. And then one day he goes, hey, Bill, tomorrow we're going to go and play with Arnold at his new course. It's about 45 minutes away. And he goes, Arnold who? Arnold Palmer. Okay. Does he like to bet? Yes. Then let's go. So Hawk and Dad used to start driving to Bay Hill, where Mr. Palmer had bought it a handful of years prior. And he and my dad started to hit it off, and they were friendly rivals from then until the day Mr. Palmer died. They played against each other every day that they played, gambling, team bets, whatever, every day for, since the mid 80s till the day Mr. Palmer died, or the day he couldn't play golf anymore anyway. So Hawk Harrelson got me, indirectly me, because of my dad, into Bay Hill.
So Hawk Harrelson knew Arnold Palmer first.
Yes. He was another sports star, but personality bigger than his actual sports star. He was, if you go back to the 70s and look at his outfits and stuff and what he wore, he was like, he belonged in a Dr. Seuss book with some of the stuff he wore. It was just nuts, but he was a bigger personality, bigger than life. The hawk with the nose and the walk, and fighting on the field if he had to. So, I actually saw Hawk about 4 days ago.
Did you really?
Came down to the locker room. He still lives in Bay Hill, comes down to the locker room, doesn't play golf anymore, but he's one of those guys that tells stories. I've heard them 100 times each, and I still like listen intently to every time he tells them. He's a great storyteller, great guy. So yeah, I was very lucky in that sense. But again, back to the AJ thing, I was a White Sox guy to begin with.
Wow. Okay, so now that we're here, your
Mhm.
dad, he said Arnold who? Your
Yeah.
dad obviously knew who Arnold Palmer was, but didn't think that just some, Hawk Harrelson's just going to say, "Oh
Right.
yeah, we're playing with Arnold."
Arnold. Right. Hey, we're going to go play with Jack. Well, Jack who? I
Yeah.
know a lot of Jacks. I'm not playing Jack Nicklaus. I don't
Yeah.
expect that right off the bat. And yeah, Dad's like, I don't know. Who was that? Arnold. Well, I mean, when we said Arnold Palmer, he knew who that was, of course. But Arnold, I didn't expect to go play with any Arnold. Yep.
And then
He loves to
was your
gamble. Let's
dad
play.
trying to play it cool? Like, does he like to gamble? Okay, yeah, fine, I'll play with him.
What's funny? My dad being the way he is, if Hawk said no, he doesn't like to gamble. He just likes to play golf and just have fun. Dad probably wouldn't have gone. He would rather have a money game with you than a friendly game with Arnold Palmer. It's just the way he is. He loves to gamble, loves to compete, loves to play.
All
Still
right, so
does. 86.
that's awesome. That's what's so great about golf. But what did he say? I mean, would you ever get a chance to maybe caddy in those matches?
Right along. Yeah. That's after we moved to Bay Hill in 79. So 79, I was 6 or 7. And yeah, right along some. Not what you call official caddy. But and then because we moved to Bay Hill, we moved to Bay Hill because Dad goes, I'm tired of driving to play Arnold. I'm just gonna buy a house there. That's where all the games are, that's where the action is. And when Arnold Palmer's there, it brings a slew of people with him. It doesn't mean it's just him. There's
Right.
always a group that wants to play with him. So there were multiple games every day, and the action is what my dad craved. And man, he got it, and just people coming left and right, and if he weren't so stoic, I guess, because like being on, we're the dead opposite. Being on TV is his nightmare. Public speaking is his nightmare. I just don't care. You go ahead, throw a camera on me. The first time I was on TV, I didn't have a bit more nerves than I do now. I just don't care. I feel like I've got a level of bullshit that I can talk about anything and make it somewhat okay, and not stumble over myself or freeze. He's the dead opposite. He would rather do anything in the world than put a camera on him. And yeah, so it's weird that we're that opposite, but yeah, just a gambling fool is kind of what he is on the golf course and cards after the round.
So, okay, can you tell me the biggest amount, or do you know the biggest amount that he won or lost against Mr. Palmer?
It wouldn't be him directly. It would be, okay, I've got an individual with Arnold. I've also got Hawk and I against AP and this guy. Hawk and I against AP and this guy. Me and another guy gets AP and those two. Me and another guy gets AP and those two. So it might be, honestly, 15 different ways that you have to, and this is before internet, so you couldn't type it in your phone and have it figured out at the end like a golf genius. You had to sit around after. It's funny. I remember the line of bets. Okay, we won this bet 3-2. And then we won 4 ways in this bet. But then, okay, let's call this one. So it took 45 minutes of just calling the games after. But the amounts, a little into the thousands. It wouldn't have been too much. Mr. Palmer was for a very wealthy man, was tight. He didn't gamble too much. 100 a bet kind of thing. 200 a bet.
Okay, so now I'm thinking about, it takes 45 minutes just to decipher who won the games.
Right.
And I'm guessing, if I know some people at all, they're not doing this over water. So I'm guessing there's some cocktails involved. I can't imagine the stories that are coming out, or maybe some like arguments that are happening while these cocktails are going and the scores are being tabulated.
Now you got to remember, it was a long time of that when I couldn't go into the locker room. You can't go in the locker room until I'm 18. So they're tabulating all this and having fun and whatnot in the locker room, and I'm just on the outside. Like maybe they put me, and I'll tell you a funny story about it. Maybe they put me in a bet, and they're happy that we won, and they're going to give me $20 or something on the way out. I mean, that's awesome. There was and Hawk tells it all the time. When Greg Norman came from Australia, he moved to Bay Hill. That was where he first started, when he was not the best player in the world, but a stud, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And Hawk said, I'll tell you what, to making the bets like they do on the range before they go out and play, I'm going to take Robert, and he plays a set of tees up because I was, I think, 15 at the time. And we're going to play you and Greg. Greg Norman? You two? Yeah, play you two. And Hawk was a great, great player. One of, I think, 2 people to ever play in a World Series and a major championship in golf, which is unbelievable. So we beat him. We beat him. And according to Hawk, again, I couldn't go in the locker room. Greg was leaving the locker room. And they go, wait a minute, we had another bet. You didn't pay. And Greg reluctantly paid. And I think Hawk gave me some money on the way out. I'm sure he did. He did it a bunch of times. But I had no idea I was playing those 2. I had no idea I was part of it. And, I made 4 or 5 birdies, and he shot 68 or 7, and we drummed. So
when did you ever get a chance? Did you ever get a chance to go head to head against Mr. Palmer?
All the time. I never played him individual. I felt like that would be kind of disrespectful. Mm-hmm. But my dad and I played him and multiple people. There were, I can't tell you how many times I would have left the range and gone home, and my dad would call and say, hey, Arnold and like Dick Ferris want to go play 9 holes. Mr. Palmer just got out of his meeting or his office signing autographs. So we would go out with an hour and a half of daylight left and go play 9 holes gambling. We did that, who knows how many, 50 times? I don't know, just lots. It's the kind of thing I wish I could go back and just remember it all, but you're taking it for granted at the time.
Of course.
I'm young, I didn't write down. I could have written a book. And like I said, my dad could have written a book even more so than me. But yeah, most of the stuff just kind of came and went because it was normal, everyday behavior. And I shame to say, I took most of it for granted.
So, you know what? You say that, but I also think there's something very special about that. And what I mean by that is Arnold Palmer is like a Michael Jordan, is like a Tiger Woods. And
Mm-hmm.
there are so few people that they have who just treat them like a normal human being. And the fact that you're not trying to document everything, that you're at the point where it's Mr. Palmer, it's just my dad's friend. That, I think, is something so incredibly special that you truly are in that inner circle. And that inner circle is so small that I don't think people realize how small it is, where they can actually be themselves and not worry about you going out and blabbering about it.
True. That is 100% true. I never felt like, and he was surrounded by kiss asses, of course. There were people that were uncomfortably not themselves around him, which is kind of understandable, I guess. But he appreciated the handful of guys, and it is a small handful that didn't treat him any differently than they treated anyone else, or they didn't act. Arnold's here. We need to, kiss his butt or stop telling these stories, or maybe slow down our drinking. No, you up it when he shows up. And when you said it, like, again, I took it for granted, but this is an icon. It's like Muhammad Ali. There weren't many living icons at that time, a handful. Mm-hmm. Paul McCartney and like I said, Muhammad Ali before he died, and Jordan, Arnold Palmer. There weren't many sports and icons. And once in a while, you just go, wow, that's it. There he is. It is kind of cool. But then it would go away, and you just, all right, let's go have a drink in the locker room.
So Michael Jordan is known to be a trash talker. And he'll talk on the golf course. He'll talk playing. Yeah, I see it. Grow 23 right there. Yeah, I see it. And I just have to know, was Arnold Palmer trash talking in these matches? Was he doing anything? Was he like just kind of like needling you? What would he do?
Nothing like a Jordan would. No. Nothing like an AJ Pierzynski does. I've hit. It's funny with AJ. I've hit, and I mean this with all my heart, I've hit 2 shanks in my life. Full shot shanks. Like I've hit bunker shots and chips and stuff, but both with AJ. And the guy he'll remind me every day. It's unbelievable. Remember you shanked that? At one time I hadn't played for like 7 months straight. And I'm like, this is going to suck. And then sure enough, shank. And you get, oh, look at that. You said you never shanked them ever. I don't. But anyway, back to whatever we were talking about. I kind
Just about
of
the trash talking
forgot
about,
it. But,
like
but
what?
no, just little. Just like, it's a big putt. I'm one up. Or we're it's pretty big for you. And I think honestly, it was a little bit of training as well as
Hmm.
ribbon. It was a little bit of, if you're going to be a tour player, which I said I wanted to be since I was 8 or 9 years old, you got to be mentally tested too. It's not just how good your golf game is. So I think there was a little bit of that. He was always, a little bit of ribbing, but when I got on tour, he was very, very proud, and I always appreciate it.
I was wondering because you said before if you're going to go play with you and AJ, you're not going to get a lesson. If you want to have a drink and you want to have a good time, yeah, this is great. As you're growing up and you're playing more and more with Mr. Palmer, and he
Mhm.
knows that you want to go pro, is there ever a time where he sees something in your swing and he's like, "Hey, Robert," or "Hey, son, like try this," or "Let's go to the range afterwards and work on this"?
No, a couple little putting things, a couple little tips, but really it was keep it simple. Don't go out and work on things. And I'll tell you his kind of best advice that I never understood at the time. But you do have to work hard. So you don't go sit around. You can sit and have a Coke or whatever, but you're not going to the locker room. Even when I was 18 later, I didn't want to go in the locker room because I wanted to practice because I knew his eyes were on me. And I kind of, in a way, wanted to do him proud. I mean, I had my own drive because I was scared to be a failure, but I also felt his eyes on me a little bit and his advice. So, but the advice was you got to work hard. And the craziest and maybe the only real big piece of advice he gave me, and it's hard to understand, but he told me you have to find a system, and it's your system. And I didn't even know what he meant by system. It's your system. It's not like I can tell you what I do and you just copy that. You have to find something that you trust. And every shot you hit from now till your last shot you ever hit in your life, that is your thought. That's it. So we said, I go, okay, what did you work on? And it's the dumbest thing. He hit hooks. So he's like an amateur, and another great amateur says, if you take your left thumb and put it on top of the grip instead of straw, on the right, more on the right side of the grip,
Hmm.
you will eliminate that hook. You can still draw it, but you're not going to lose it left. So he went to work the next day, played terrible, and then finally got it. And he goes, every shot I hit in my life, and I thought this can't be. And he goes, absolutely. I reminded myself of my left thumb before I hit it. And I go, that's too simple. You every tour win, all 60, three, something like that. Every
Right.
major, everything you ever did, the biggest shot you ever hit, you just thought of putting your left thumb on top of the grip. Yeah, that's all. And I go, so you went home on a week off in your prime and you would practice, and every shot you hit in practice, left thumb. Yeah, he goes, maybe I would just I'd do that, but I'd try to hit Creamy. Creamy was his caddy. So that's how simple it is. Okay, left thumb, now hit Creamy. So he tried to bean his caddy out on the range. His caddy's shagging balls in the rain. Yeah,
Unreal.
just hit Creamy and left thumb. And I'm like, one of the all-time great careers, boils down to him to that one thought, one swing thought. If I put my left thumb on top of the grip and I hit my draw, I'm not going to overhook it. And he drew a career of confidence from that. I never understood that till I think I was older. Uh, I don't even know what my system would have been that I could have stuck with, but that was the best advice he ever gave me, and the only real true advice he ever gave me as far as being a good a golfer as I could be.
I'm guessing you played in over 300 PGA Tour events.
Yeah.
I'm sure you played in a couple of the Arnold Palmer Invitationals at Bay Hill.
Yes.
What was the feeling like when you walk off 18 and there he is to greet you? Like, is there, I mean, I have to think being on that inner circle, your dad being such a good friend of his, him
Mhm.
seeing you for so long, there's got to be an incredible sense of pride from him and overcome with joy to see you playing at his event. What was it?
Well, I never actually got emotional after, but every time I saw him after the round, it hits you right here just a little bit. Um, Even as well as I knew him, even as much time as I spent with him, um, the Arnold Palmer Invitational and Arnold Palmer himself, but really more the Arnold Palmer Invitational is the reason I wanted to be a professional golfer. Uh, my parents would let me take Thursday, Friday off of school when the Arnold Palmer Invitational came around, and I could walk around and watch all these great players. And I wanted nothing more than to be inside the ropes and do what they do. So Mr. Palmer was an inspiration, but that tournament itself,
Hmm.
every time it came around, from the time I was 8 years old, from maybe the very first or second one, maybe 1980-ish, I watched every single one of them. And teeing up in my first one was by far and away the most nervous I've ever been, ever, on anything. Um, I remember it took 3 holes for my chest to stop hurting, even to the point where I think, like, am I going to withdraw? Because I'm like, literally, I can't take a deep breath. Um, if I get super nervous, which happened small handful of times, I see white. I kind of lose my vision and it goes blurry white. And I remember that, like, I can't see anything. It's just instinct that I know where the ball is. Um, yeah, it happened on 17 at TPC Sawgrass one year. I finished third, and you get to 17, and so much rides on this. And every time you glance at the green, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. It looks like a rowboat out in the ocean. And finally, by the time it's my turn to hit, and I take my last look at the ball, I don't see anything. It just white,
What?
like looking at a snowbank. So yeah, just pure instinct. So I remember that a couple times. That's my I'm super nervous and my body's reacting thusly is I kind of lose my vision.
So what'd you do on 17 that day?
I hit the front, so the pin is traditionally back right,
Mhm.
in the swale on the right. I hit kind of the middle of the green and it rolled down to the Thursday pin, that the hole in one pin.
Okay.
And I two putted somehow. And I finished third, which was a huge deal. Tiger, that was the Be the Right Club Today year.
Mhm.
And so Tiger and Hal had separated themselves.
Yep.
But Players is such a prestigious tournament and there is so much money on the line. Yeah, it was nerve wracking. And that's what that hole is designed for. I know I'm jumping all over the place, but that's
No,
what that hole is designed for. It's a perfectly designed golf hole.
I'm glad you jumped around because I was thinking about your career and how you went to UCF, but you left after your junior year to turn
Yeah.
pro.
Mhm.
And if I'm not mistaken, when you did that, there weren't a whole lot of guys who were leaving school early, were there?
No, no. Very few. Even guys like Mickelson and Duvall, they finished.
Right.
They went 4 years. Um, Truth is, you're putting it very nicely. I failed out. I didn't go to school.
I didn't know
I was
that.
there to play golf. So I went 2 years. I held on GPA. My first semester of third year, my GPA dipped below 2.0, and I am academically ineligible to play sports.
Oh, so
Now,
it's like, forget it. What am I doing here?
well, sort of. There's a handful of athletes that happens every semester across all, not just golf, across every sport. And there's a committee that you can go to and ask for like kind of a hardship, and they can extend to you a courtesy 1 semester extension in order to get your GPA back up, but you can play. So I went to this board, I talked, they let me have the extension, and apparently I was the only one that got it, is what I heard. I mean, I wasn't there for all of them out of a handful of athletes. So that semester I have to get my grades up and play golf. I made 3 Fs and a B in my classes. I never went to school. I didn't go. I woke up and went to the golf course. I went 6 weeks that semester without seeing the campus, and I lived a mile off campus.
What?
So I knew school wasn't for me, and I think it was my own subconscious rebelling and like saying, instead of going to my parents and saying I want to quit, no, I'm done. I'm out. I can't play golf anymore. So yeah, I was academically ineligible. And I had a guy that was willing to sponsor me. I talked my parents into letting me quit. They gave me 3 years. If you're not showing signs of making it, you got to go back to school. Okay, you got it. So yeah.
So okay, this makes me like you even more, because
I hated school.
for a multitude of reasons. One, you're doing right now, you're talking for a living as a broadcaster in golf, and you failed out of school. So for everyone out there being like, "Oh, school's so important," maybe not.
No, not for everyone.
2, you said you were given 3 years. And if I'm not mistaken, you spent 2 years on mini tours, 1 year on the Canadian tour, and you went to Q school 3 times.
I did. Third time.
Third time, you got your tour card.
Yes.
So was that you right there saying, "Shit, if I don't get this right now, I have to go back to school"?
Yes. That was so I told you the Arnold Palmer Invitational was my motivation to be a professional golfer. Young. Later, the biggest motivation I had to get up, and I got up every day, starting after the day I quit college. I got up every day at 6 a.m. And I went to the course and I started hitting balls and no one was there. I had one of those milk crates that I'd go downstairs at Bay Hill, get it, set it on the range and start hitting, because of the fear of failing at that meant I have to go back to school. And I hated that thought so bad. For 3 years, and I'm by nature a lazy guy. For 3 years, I could not be outworked because I was scared to death. I was there. If the sun didn't come up, I waited in the locker room for it to come up, and then I went out to the course and went to the range. And at the end of it all, not that I was ever the best golfer, I think that when I got in the position where it's close at Q school and I'm going to get my card, I drew on that like I deserve this. I absolutely deserve it. It doesn't matter how good I am. No one did what I did the last 3 years. So, it's just that kind of wasn't going to be denied, I thought. It gave me a lot of mental strength, which deteriorated much later.
Yeah, but the good news is you never had to go back to school.
No, never. I had the dreams, for a while that I have to go back or have an exam, and I wake up like cold sweat. Oh my God, why do I have to? Thank God I don't have to go to school. It was something that from the first class I took in college, I knew just sucked. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't what I wanted. I had enough common sense to where going to Western literature class irritated me because I know it means nothing. It means nothing to me. Nothing to me in my future. College is about your future. That meant nothing. And I'm forced to take it. And it just ticked me off to no end. I had professors, well, don't put your eggs in a basket as a golfer. You need this. And it's true. Athletes are 1% of 1% that really make it out of college. But I didn't want to hear that crap. And it just, if I had an opportunity to miss class to go to the golf course, I did it. I was terrible for it. But it worked out in the end. I'm here with you.
I can remember being in college. Maybe this is why we're here together. Because I can remember being in college and people would ask me, how's school going? I'm like, good, working, radio and school. And they're like, in that order? I'm like, yeah, that order. And then my dad asking me, have you learned anything in college? I'm like, I could answer a couple more questions on Jeopardy. But
maybe.
Really like my slider and wiffle ball's gotten nasty. It's like, oh my God.
Right. There's some women that know my name now.
Yeah, exactly.
Some positive,
you're
some
Justin
negative,
from Tom. Okay.
Yeah. But
what was Q
times.
school? I've heard like horror stories about Q school. What was Q school like?
So it's funny. First year I tried Q school, I didn't make it through first stage. So that was kind of big nothing. Second year I missed in second stage, and third year I made it. But third year I'm playing very well, winning mini tour events, really in control of my golf ball. I'm a very good putter, and I'm having no problem. So I made it, breeze through first stage, wherever that was. Second stage, I go to Florence, South Carolina, and the first 3 days. I'm in the final group. I think I'm in third place, so the last group. So I'm making it to final stage. No big deal. Now bogey like the second hole. Okay. This much under is going to make it, so I can make 5 more bogeys. Bogey the next hole. All right, no big deal. I'm playing good. Another bogey. Okay, I got 3 more bogeys I can play with and still bogey. And I end up shooting. I think I shot a 79 and had to go into a playoff. That's how much cush I had.
Oh my God.
And it was a complete mental breakdown. And it was the best lesson really I ever had professionally within my own mind, because I never thought like that again. And I went to a playoff and somehow squeaked through. I made an unbelievable up and down in the first hole, and went to finals. And I never allowed that kind of mindset to slip in anymore. I've got this much wiggle room. No, you play to win. You play to do the best you can. You play each shot one at a time. You don't get ahead of yourself like that. And yeah, it was a great lesson, but scary as hell, because I thought I'd just blown it. And I hadn't shot 79 in forever. I'm playing great. And just, nope, just terrible. So anyway, through grace of God, I get through and went out to California and played third or fourth round, played one of the best rounds I've ever played. And made it through Q school. Didn't have to play the last round.
Right, because it got rain out, right?
It rained nonstop. So
in California.
Great. Yes.
You're talking about that grace of God.
I never allowed myself. So it's dumping, like Noah's Ark kind of dumping. And the forecast is for more rain for like 3 more days. And they canceled the round. I had played 1 hole. I parred the first, and they blew the horn, come in. Starts raining, just deluge. Next day, we're out again, still raining, but we're waiting. We're going to go out, and people would come to me. I think I was tied for 16th or 15th at the time. You're going to make it. They're going to call this. No, I'm not going to make it. We're going to play. I wouldn't let myself get in that mindset of like, wow, I got my card. Because then what happens if the clouds part and something happens and they make us go play? Now I'm disappointed, and I just wouldn't allow that to happen. And until the official finally came in and said, obviously we can't play, and we're leaving it as is. There were a lot of pissed off people, but I wasn't one of them.
No, I can imagine. It reminds me a lot of, like, in football, prevent defense, right? What does it prevent you from doing? It prevents you from winning.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was doing. That is what happened to Brooks. He admitted it kind of behind the scenes at the Masters when he was playing unbelievable, and Rahm ended up winning.
Yep.
He goes, I played to not lose my lead instead of playing to win. He didn't say that publicly, but I told a couple.
Right.
And it's even a guy like that who had won 4 majors at that point.
Yep.
Fell victim to being a dummy.
Well, it's funny. I mean, obviously, you and I broadcast golf now for a living, and you think about it so often, like, okay, this person has this much of a lead, and you're coming down the stretch, and they've got some strokes to play with, and you don't want to take any chances, but at the same time, there's that fine line of, do you be aggressive? Do you play your normal game, or do you back off a little bit? And I kind of gather from what you're saying, from your experiences, you can't take the foot off the pedal too much, otherwise disaster can happen.
So the answer is, and I've learned this more as a broadcaster than I did as a player, is both. Do you let off the gas? Sometimes. Do you put on the gas? Sometimes. And the only way you know for sure what to do on each shot is to keep your eye close on the leaderboard. Nicklaus did it. Tiger did it. They watched the leaderboard. When I was near, I didn't watch it. I didn't look at it. And I didn't want to. If I saw my name on the leaderboard, my mind went forward. What if I do this? I could birdie this hole. It's a par 5. And I didn't like that. And I know in hindsight now I should have. And I should have adjusted whatever game plan accordingly. But I was scared. I think I was scared of being a winner that week or whatever. I mean, not scared, but deep down, like, wow, is that what can you really handle this kind of thing? So I tried to avoid it and just play my own game, which is a mistake. If there's a golf lesson and there's somebody listening that wants to be a professional golfer, suck it up, watch the scoreboard, watch what everybody's doing, because it will dictate what you have to do. And if you don't believe me, watch Tiger and Nicklaus, the two best
Yep.
that ever did it by far. And so that's the answer. Do I need to go for something? Well, I'll look at the leaderboard, see where I stand.
Right.
Can I lay back? Sure. I remember Tiger one year at Doral, the one of the toughest holes in the world is the final hole at Doral, and he had a 2-shot lead. He took iron. He played a 3-shot hole, which is
Not
in a weird way kind
Tiger-like.
of emasculating and not Tiger-like. Right. I'm going to play, but it was the right thing to do because there's water everywhere. He took double out of play. If I make bogey, so what? I get the trophy.
Yep.
And but he did that by knowing exactly where he stood.
And
it's
also,
important.
you mentioned something. You said it's emasculating, but it's also you take the ego out of it, right?
Sure.
Like all I care about is winning. I don't
Right.
care if I win by 4 shots, by 3 shots. If I win, I win. And I feel like that's what Tiger did.
Mm-hmm.
When you got to play during the height of the Tiger Woods era.
Yeah.
You saw him close up. What was the intimidation factor? Because from the outside looking in, it seemed like it was real. Was it real?
Not for me. And I never understood that because I knew I wasn't on his level. So if I was playing with him, I mean, I just do my own thing. He does his own thing. If he plays well, he beats me. That's fine. I know that. I think he was super intimidating to the guys like, let's say, a Davis Love, an Ernie Els, guys that aren't used to getting beat. Yet they know Tiger's going to beat them. If it's Sunday and they're tied, I cannot win. Now they wouldn't say that out loud.
Right.
They wouldn't say, oh, he's human, and it's just a score. No, they knew he was going to win, and it was that's maybe the most impressive thing I've ever seen. If Tiger had a piece of the lead after Friday, just a piece of the lead, and you're in the locker room Saturday morning, we all knew it was over. Knew it. We didn't think it's over. We didn't think, oh, maybe he'll shoot 73 one day. He could do it. He's human. Nope. We knew it was over. And some people, me, so what? I'm happy to be here. I'm doing my best. If lightning strikes, which it did one time, then great. But yeah, it's those guys that weren't used to losing, that weren't used to being not the top dog, that were like, I think it got under their skin because they just, Vijay Singh is not used to having people better than him. Yet there was one that he knew would beat him if it came down the stretch pretty much. And it's just, that was what intimidation is. I don't even know if intimidation is the right word. Mike Tyson is intimidating.
Right.
Because he beat your ass and maybe die in the ring. And he probably would laugh at you if he did. That's an intimidating thing. Tiger was never going to hit you. He's just going to play golf. So, yeah, I think a lot of players let themselves get intimidated.
Okay, it's really interesting because I said this when it happened in 2008 when Rocco Mediate almost beat him in the U.S. Open.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember that putt on the 72nd hole, and I was working at MLB at the time, and I'm watching this. I'm doing highlights, and I'm watching the U.S. Open because that was the first time it was in prime time. And as he's getting ready for that putt, I'm like, I don't know if people realized how big this putt is right now. Because if he were to lose, if he doesn't make this putt, he loses a major with a 54-hole lead, and then he loses to Rocco Mediate. And all of a sudden, that would give everybody else the confidence like, oh, this guy's beatable. And he makes that putt. And then he goes on and wins the next day in the playoff. But when he lost to Y.E. Yang, that changed things. And again, what you're saying right now is the two guys that came the closest were Rocco Mediate and Y.E. Yang. It wasn't the VJs. Yeah, Bob May.
Bob May. If you want to go outside the majors, Grant Waite in the Canadian Open. And Tiger had hit that incredible shot out of the right bunker. And I have a theory about that. They're not supposed to be hanging with Tiger, so they're freewheeling. Freewheeling. So what? Yep. Bob May's not supposed to beat Tiger in a major championship. So what do I care? I'm just freewheeling. I'm playing like I do with my buddies. I don't have any extra pressure because I'm not supposed to win. Ernie Els is supposed to win majors. Vijay Singh, Davis Love. they're supposed to win majors, and Tiger would just take them down. Wai Yang's not a threat to Tiger, but I look at Wai Yang kind of like Buster Douglas. It was
Yep, exactly.
It wasn't just that the underdog won, but Tiger had been showing signs of body breaking down.
Mhm.
He had been through enough swing changes to where I don't think he had the ultimate confidence every single time he hit a particular shot. He had a lot, obviously, but he didn't seem like quite the destroyer that he was when Wai Yang beat him, that he was 4 or 5 years ago. You even go back to when he chipped in on 16 at Augusta, the greatest chip maybe, timing-wise ever, 2005. He also bogeyed the next 2 holes to force a playoff, to have DeMarco force a playoff. Right. Tiger doesn't bogey 2 holes in a row. So there we are in 05, and we're starting to see, wait a minute, this is not quite the Tiger Woods that we saw in 01, obviously, or 2000. So maybe there is a chance, and I think Wai Yang fed off that a little bit, and it just was one of those things that had to happen eventually.
So your win on tour came in 2001.
Yeah.
Came during the height of Tiger. What did it mean? Let's talk about what it meant for you to get the win in a playoff at the Byron Nelson, but also to get a win during that time where it's the heyday of Tiger.
So I to toot my own horn, and I didn't realize this. A friend of mine, maybe yours too, Joel Klatt. You know Joel?
Yeah.
Joel is a great guy. We started at Fox together. We golf, and he was asking about my win, and he looked it up. He goes, "You're the only player ever to win a tournament when the Grand Slam champion's in the field in the history of the tour." So when Tiger held all 4 majors, he played 3 tournaments. He won 2 of them.
Damn.
And he lost 1, and it was that one. And I go, that is pretty damn cool. I'm not worthy of that kind of thing. And I really didn't know that at the time, but yeah, it's true. So yes, that was prime Tiger, and he had played the first 3 rounds. He was not way behind, maybe like 6 shots or so behind, but he certainly wasn't playing great. And then when we're playing, and I'm watching Scott Verplank, we're in the final group, and I'm really turning it into match play. Again, I'm not looking at the leaderboards because I'm chicken. I'm just playing match play against Verplank. But then roars start happening, and you can hear out in the distance people going nuts. And I'm like, not this frickin' guy, not him. Because again, we can't beat him. So thank God he just ran out of holes, because he shot 63 the last round and ended up finishing 3rd, but he just ran out of holes. He couldn't chase it down anymore. So, yeah, I was, when the roaring stopped and I knew he was done, I was like, thank goodness. I didn't know if I was leading necessarily. I knew I was beating Verplank, but I knew he had to do something really special to catch us. And, yeah, when he ran out of holes, I was, oh, thank God. I can't, this guy's not going to come back and just do what he does every week.
It reminds me of the scene in Major League, one of my favorite movies, where the Wild Thing comes and the owner goes, "I hate this freaking song."
And you still get chills, don't you, when the music comes on? I do too. One of the greatest sports moments ever is that movie.
Yes.
Just the music comes on, and it's awesome. You know what's going to happen. You know he's going to strike the guy out, but didn't matter.
Vaughn, I got one thing to say. Strike this motherfucker out.
That's the best. Oh, yeah, give him the heater.
Yeah. Okay, so that
love it.
The roars subside because Tiger finishes up on 18, and you have to go to a playoff against Scott Verplank. Were you in the final group with Verplank the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay. So was there ever a time in that final round where you both hear the roars? Are you ever looking at each other like, is this really fucking happening?
Probably. We talked a lot. We had one player that we made fun of pretty much the whole day. A player that he didn't like very much, and I thought he was kind of a joke. He was a great player. I'm not gonna, but he just There's a person, without getting too specific, I don't want to name names.
Yeah.
There's a personality trait that was just abhorrent to us, and we made fun of him the whole time. And we had a nice day, a nice round of golf. It didn't feel like battle until the last really few holes. And it was even in the playoff. I remember people saying, "Man, you guys were like laughing. We were showing you walking to the green on whatever hole, and you guys are laughing. Do you remember what you're talking about?" I go, "Yeah, I remember exactly. Do you want to tell us?" "No, I'm not going to tell you. But it's between us." But so I hit to go back. I hit my second shot on 18, and I'm one up on Verplank. So again, my goal is to beat Verplank. I'm max play against this guy, and I hit a second shot, and as soon as it came off, I go in the hole, and my caddy goes, "Go in," and I go, "That's it." I mean, I've hit a shot like perfect, and I guess adrenaline. When it landed, no one clapped, and I go, "Holy shit, where did it go?" No one clapped. Like, I'm expecting it to be a foot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know where it went. And I'm freaking out. So I guess adrenaline, which I hadn't had to play with a lot of, it went to the back fringe. I had like 22, 23 feet. And I left it about a foot short, tapped it in for par. And Verplank had a 10-footer for birdie. And I went to my caddy. I go, "What does that mean? What do we do?" He said, if Scott makes this putt, we play off. If not, you win. I'm like, holy crap. I don't want to pull against Scott, but miss this freaking putt, please. Please. And of course he didn't. He made it. And off we went. So 4-hole playoff. And I made a bomb on the fourth hole. And then he had a 25-footer to tie, 20-footer to tie. I missed it. Incredible. I always wish. So a good friend of mine, a Kentucky player named Russ Cochran, he won once on tour. And he told me, he goes, I wish at the time I can win one more. And not just because I've won two, but because I want to enjoy it. I want to sit there for 1 second when the last putt goes in and just let it get soaked in. Because the first win, you don't know what to expect. All of a sudden, here comes Peter Costas with the microphone. Then they throw you in a cart to take you to the 18th green where the trophy ceremony is with Byron Nelson. And they hand you a microphone and you speak to the volunteers and you speak to the fans and you talk about that experience. And then they take you to the media tent and you sit there and answer questions for a while. And then you go to the locker room and you're sitting there by yourself. You go, what the hell just happened?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a chance to close my eyes and soak in what just happened. And you'll hear that. It's every time a player wins their first tournament, what's it like? I can't explain it. It's unreal. I don't have words to explain because you don't know. You don't know. And I was the same way. I wish I could have gotten one more win just to know what that felt like, that moment. But never did. But still, I overachieved, so it was okay.
You're a PGA Tour winner. I've had the privilege of being on the call for players' first PGA Tour win.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do it, for the rest of your life, you're a PGA Tour winner. And that is something that nobody can ever take away from you. And I think that's so incredibly cool.
When I was on Morning Drive on Golf Channel, I did that for 5 years. In the morning, they introduced, "Hi, I'm Gary Williams. I'm Damon Hack," and alongside PGA Tour winner Robert Damron. That did not get old. Never got old. I loved hearing it every single morning. It happened 1,000 times. Loved it. And I look back now, I can't believe it. It seems like just a vague memory of a past life. The entire thing, from top to bottom, all 16 years of being a tour player. If I didn't have the scrapbooks and the newspaper clippings, I would tell you you're pulling my leg. I didn't really do that shit. You're crazy. I didn't do that. Watch me play golf now. I'm an 8 handicap. It sucked. How can I have ever beaten time Tiger Woods? It just doesn't make sense. But hey, there it was. I did a lot of work. I'm super proud of it, but man, it's just like a long time. So by the way, to do both sides of this Tiger Woods thing, and I'm going to make this pitch because I win an if, and I pray Tiger plays some PGA Tour champions. Just a few.
Me too.
And they're going to have our PGA Tour Live. We'll set a dedicated camera and team I want to be that guy because I'm the only guy that beat him at the time he held all 4 majors. I am also hold the distinction of shooting the highest round of any pro that ever played with him in a group. So
What'd
I
you
covered
shoot?
both ends, 85. 85 at Kapalua.
What did he shoot?
I don't know. It was a very hard day in my defense. The Kona winds
Okay.
came in, and what is normally a pretty benign course. I mean, what did Hideki shot 35 under or something a couple of years ago, or Cam Smith? It became very hard, but it wasn't 85. I drove it in just every hole, and I'm like, after like 11, Tiger and I look at each other and started laughing, just like I'm helpless. I'm just like got nothing. I just hurry up and get this round over with. It's terrible. So yeah, I
could
covered
almost
both
see.
ends
I
of the
could almost
spectrum.
see that look by Tiger being like,
Oh
head
yeah,
down, laughing, like, dude, I'm
he
sorry.
goes like, well, just start over. That's all you can do. I go, well, dude, I tried that about 3 holes ago. It ain't working.
The fact that you had that incredible relationship with Arnold Palmer,
Mm-hmm.
and I know you want to be a professional golfer since you were 8 years old. The one win on tour, it's Byron Nelson.
Yeah.
History. I just had this sneaking suspicion it wasn't lost on you. So
No.
when you win that in the playoff and there's Byron Nelson to congratulate you, you ever sit back and think like, holy shit,
Yes.
I had Arnold Palmer and Byron Nelson to shake my hand? Like, what?
I have in this room right beside me, I have I guess you'd call it a collage, professionally done photo. I've got the Arnold Palmer letter that he wrote me after I won. I've got one from Dow Finsterwald, who was a Ryder Cup captain and a Bay Hill guy I knew from a long time. And I have one from Byron Nelson, handwritten note. Just on the other side of this wall right here, I have the hat I wore on Sunday with Byron Nelson's signature underneath. Because as soon as I finished, I took it off. It was a black hat that had a white underbill, so he signed the underside. I have it just right there. I always loved golf. I was always a fan of Byron Nelson and Snead and Hogan. The original greats. And no, it was not lost on me that I'm standing here with Byron Nelson accepting his trophy. It's pretty incredible. And so for Plank and I tie, third place, 3 shots behind us was Tiger,
Right.
Nick Price, David Duval, the last 3 number 1 players in the world.
Oh my God.
So I was like, holy shit, that's like historic.
Yes.
And again, I don't want to toot my own horn because I'm not that guy. I'm far more self-deprecating, and I mean it most of the time. It just doesn't add up. How did this guy from Pikeville, Kentucky, take down those animals? Just for a week.
Wow.
Lucky as hell.
Wow. That's so cool. All right. Well, I like to end all my podcasts with a segment I call This Just In. And it is
I get it.
Rapid fire. Yeah. Using that college education here.
Right.
I did graduate, even though my dad didn't trust me that I did. But at my graduation, he says, "Let me see your diploma." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Let me see it." I was like,
"Here."
"Here."
He can forge those kind of things.
He goes, "Okay, yeah." Nowadays, you definitely could. But these are just rapid fire questions, and I reserve the right to ask follow-ups. But your favorite tournament or venue?
Okay, we got to take Bay Hill out. I mean, that's close to my heart. I love it. I live here now.
Yeah.
So let's take Bay Hill out. Players Championship. No, can we go major? Because Winged Foot is awesome. I played the PGA at Winged Foot, but that's not a steady course. So a steady course is played.
But the favorite major course was Winged Foot 06?
Winged Foot, PGA. No, 97. Davis Love.
Oh, Davis Love, 97. PGA Championship. Yeah.
Yep. Best course in the sense that the history and the difficulty and the beauty of it. Difficulty is an understatement. It is brutally hard. But yeah, so that'd be my favorite course.
All right. I believe you answered this question before, but the most nervous tee shot you've ever had to hit?
First at Bay Hill. No question. And it's not, I mentioned the 17th at Players. It wasn't close. It wasn't close. Again, the thought of I'm going to have to withdraw for 3 holes till my chest relaxed was there. And so that was Yeah, not even close. Not even close. First hole, my first Bay Hill, 1997.
Favorite finishing hole on tour?
Oh man, I love everything Pebble Beach. 18 at Pebble Beach because of its volatility. There's eagles, there's doubles, there's ocean, there's every possibility that can happen. So if you're in the clubhouse with a 2-shot lead and somebody's about to tee off 18, you are not giving the tournament to yourself. Somebody could make eagle. Vice versa. If you're on 18 with a 2-shot lead, the tournament's not over. Ask Pat Perez, who blew it into that OB way right, avoiding the ocean. So I'm going to say Pebble Beach. I'll probably later on when we're done think, oh, I should have said this one, but Pebble Beach, 18.
What best prepared you to play on tour?
Practice. The fact, again, that I knew no one deserved to be, even though they were better than me. I knew from the day I quit college that every morning, and my girlfriend would be like, stay in bed. No, I can't. I'm freaking out. I have to get up. And thank God that I kind of had that fear. I don't like practice. And this is going to sound so weird. Thank God Howard Stern was on, because 6 a.m. I popped my earphones in and listened to Howard Stern as I practiced. And it kept me occupied. It was entertaining. It was fun. Not that shit he has now is terrible. Right. And I'm so disappointed because I love him. And I feel like there's a part of me that owes my career to it. Because for years, every time I practice, I would put Howard Stern in. And at 6 a.m. And I'm enjoying myself as opposed to just sitting there quietly hitting balls where I would have hung myself. Yeah. So anyway, it was the amount of work I put in that 3-year span between quitting college and getting my tour card that I know no one did.
You're the first person, I think, to ever say while hitting balls, usually it's a certain type of music you're listening to. Nope, it was Howard Stern.
Howard Stern. Baba Booey. I loved it. It was the most entertaining show in history to now the biggest pile of shit that you can imagine. It's kind of like Landman. Have you watched Landman at all?
I have not. I know I've been told I have to watch it. I have not watched it.
Watch first season. First season, awesome. Second season is an affront to your humanity. It's just the grossest, stupidest thing I've ever seen. It's the most pointless, zero plot, zero nothing. Just a bunch of filler. It's killing me.
So I shouldn't say right now that this podcast is brought to you by Landman.
I did that on the Gravy and Sleeve show. I love Justified. Justified with Raylan Givens, and it was the Eastern Kentucky thing. And then they did this final season long after it was done, and it just sucked butt. And I went on and talked about it. I'm talking to Colt and Drew, and they go, they're sponsor of the show. I go, love it. Best thing I ever saw. Like, I was just joking to see if you guys were going to follow along. But yeah, so I did get caught doing that once.
Best athlete on tour when you played?
DJ. You got to say DJ, because we barely overlapped. Barry Woodland obviously played college basketball. But athlete, not just I think DJ, if you handed him a baseball bat, if you handed him a hockey puck, whatever, he would find a way to be good at it quickly. That's such an obvious answer.
Mm-hmm. But I actually thought you were going Willie Mack.
Okay. Willie Mack is, but he's not. Is climbing mountains and whitewater rafting, is that sports? I guess it is. Is dancing? You seen him dance?
No.
Oh, he's like MC Hammer.
Get out.
This guy could dance like nobody's business. Awesome. I saw him barefoot on he's very, very good. But I don't know if I gave him a baseball bat, could he hit a slider? I don't know that.
I bet you he could.
He would. He'd figure it out.
How about the best professional athlete, non-golfer? Who's the best golfer you've played with?
The best golfer I've played with, non-golfer. There've been a lot. I never played with Smoltz. He's good. I've never played with Romo. He's obviously good. Boy, I played with Jordan way back in the day when he was pretty solid. I played with Lawrence Taylor. He was a pretty good golfer back in the day. I know I'm missing something because there's pitchers that were really good golfers.
Oh, yeah. Like Mark Mulder.
Mark Mulder, but I've never played with him. I know him. Shelby Miller,
Miller.
I think, used to
Yep.
pitch for. He was
Yep.
a hell of a player. Pitcher for. He was Braves for a while when Pierzynski was Braves. I played with him. Great player. Fun guy. Adam Thielen. He's a good golfer.
Mm-hmm. Adam Thielen actually plays at my course in Charlotte.
Really? Oh, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
So I didn't know this, that you played with MJ. What was it like playing with him?
So he was.
What was it like playing with him, and how much did you bet?
$5 because I was like 18 years old. He was a White Sox at the time.
Okay, so
The
94,
previous
95.
year, yep. The previous year, he had played the Western Open at Point of Woods. Remember the amateur tournament? And
I
he
didn't know
played
he
in
played
it one
that.
year. Yeah, he did one year. And so he was playing Bay Hill. It was a very slow day. He was on like 36 holes. You know, he plays all day
Yep.
long. And a buddy of mine went out and he just kind of and watched him and he goes, what are you guys doing? You know, we're 18 or 17 at the time. And I go, well, we're just watching. We're getting ready. We're going to the Western Amateur next month. You know, we're getting ready. We've been practicing. He goes, okay, go to the next tee, warm up. We're playing for $5 all. You got it. So we joined him and his group, me and my buddy. And it was a lot of, I was always sassy and I could do the jawing and talking too. I hate there's going to be a lot of ribbing in this TGL or whatever. Golfers suck at ribbing. Let's be honest. They just suck at it. They're terrible. I could do it. So yeah, there was a lot of that's where me and Pierzynski get along so well. So even as a kid, we were giving it to each other, and I think I beat him out of $5.
Okay, so then the best trash talker on tour.
Me, if I had
Really?
to. I'm not on tour anymore.
No, when
JT.
you played.
Oh, oh boy. Boy, I'm gonna have to come back to that. There was a guy that was never serious. I don't know that he was a trash talker, but he's funny and shit. Oh, okay, I'll tell you the best trash talker, Payne Stewart. Greg Kraft was the other guy I was thinking. He was funny and wouldn't shut up and he just joked all the time. Payne Stewart loved to talk shit. And hey, you know where I'm going tonight? We're playing a practice round at Wingfoot. You know where I'm going tonight? The Champions Dinner for PGA Champions. He goes, what are you doing tonight? I'm like, what you know what I'm doing? I'm a rookie. I'm going to, McDonald's or something and going to bed. But no, he loved that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'd say Payne Stewart.
And since you grew up around Arnold Palmer, was there ever a player that you got paired with in a tournament that you just thought to yourself, wow, I can't believe I'm playing with this person?
Arnold Palmer.
In a tournament.
Yeah, we were paired at the Bay Hill tournament. First 2 rounds. As per his request.
No way.
Yeah. Because he was, not playing well, but he was still playing. And he goes, hey, put me with Robert. That way it's just, I don't feel like I have to compete against these guys. We're just going to have fun. And it was me and Mr. Palmer and JP Hayes. So, yeah, that was one of the coolest times, even though, again, I'd known him forever. But, yeah, I played with him in his second to last PGA Tour event ever. So that was really, really cool. But there were a few others, older guys. I didn't like to admit or pretend I was intimidated by guys I was playing against at the time. The Payne Stewarts, the Tiger Woods, Davis Loves. But there are a couple of older guys I would get paired with that were really cool that I thought, even like an Andy Bean or, guys I watched when I was a kid winning tournaments. So that was really cool. Greg Norman, when I got paired with him the first time, I was really kind of starstruck. We're in the final group at Memphis, my rookie year. He ended up birding the last 3 to beat me by 2.
Dang.
But I went from being enamored with him. 36 holes later, I couldn't stand it.
And by the way, that was just payback for you beating him.
I guess so.
Harrelson. Yeah.
Maybe so.
Yeah. He's like, I remember you. You were that damn kid. I owed you $20.
I'll tell you, the most starstruck I've ever been meeting another golfer was Sevi. I met him. I spent 30 seconds with him. And that guy had an aura that no one else had. So, yeah, I was intimidated, starstruck, not intimidated. We weren't playing together. We were on the range at Troon. But, yeah, that was the most, I was like, That's Sevy. That's awesome.
That is so cool. Dude, I love the fact that you grew up wanting to be a professional golfer. You got that chance to be on the inner circle with Arnold Palmer, and yet you never lost that sight of being a fan and
No,
knowing how lucky you are and you were to have those opportunities. Um, that's something really special. Uh, so really, really cool for you, and it's special for me to be able to work with you and call you a friend.
no, thanks.
I have a blast every time we're working together. Usually you're on the ground, I'm in the booth, and I say something and you make me laugh all the time.
Well, good.
It's
I
awesome.
I hate cookie cutter
Me too.
in sports commentary, whether it's golf, which is full of them. And I'm not saying they're bad. There's a place for them because most of them have jobs higher up than me. But I despise it. I think if you see something that's ugly or bad, or somebody does something that's not right, you should say it. I hate that's not his best. Oh no, every shot's not his best except for one shot he ever hit in his life. So describe a little more, be honest. And that's what I try to do. So if I make you laugh occasionally, that's icing on the cake. That's great. But just so long as you don't go, well, you're pretty vanilla out there today. Good job, but nothing that you didn't say anything that everyone else would have said. Then I would go home and rethink my career.
I'm somebody who says my job is to make the viewer laugh at least once during a broadcast. Not that I'm a comedian, but they have to know that I'm having fun, that what we do, we're lucky to be doing it. And
I'm the
it's
same.
not life or death. There are times where the stress is high. However, you have to find the moments to let it, lighten it up a bit.
I want my host to gasp a little one time around, one time a day where they go, I can't believe you just said that. Okay. Then I've done my job. I go to bed at night.
I love it, dude. We got to get out there and play golf with AJ and have some fun. I can't wait for you guys to make fun of my golf swing and my golf.
Oh, God. Well, ours are pretty garbage nowadays, too. So we wouldn't be coming from a place of authority anymore.
Perfect. Well, hey, man, thanks for doing this. It's a blast.
Great.
Can't wait to see you soon, PGA Tour live and out there on the golf course. Thanks, bro.
Look forward to it. Absolutely.